Manuel, there is too much butter on those trays.
Okay.
There is too much butter on those trays.
No, senor.
What?
Not on those trays. No, sir. Uno, dos, tres.
Although it only aired for 2 short series and a total of 12 episodes, Fawlty Towers has achieved legendary status in British comedy since its first broadcast in 1975 and its return for a second series in 1979. The show remains a gold standard for sitcom writing, acting, and farcical humor with its chaotic energy, unforgettable characters, and masterful storytelling, keeping audiences laughing for nearly 5 decades. Beyond its great scripts and performances, Fawlty Towers has also become iconic due to the quirky behind-the-scenes details and amusing hidden facets surrounding it.
No fire, only practice. Tell him, Polly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Perhaps they're upstairs.
What's happening now? Now.
The Real Basil, inspired by a hotel owner who is absolutely bonkers. The idea for Fawlty Towers came after the Monty Python team stayed at the Gleneagles Hotel in Torquay while filming in the early 70s. John Cleese and Connie Booth were taken aback by the erratic behavior of the hotel's owner, Donald Sinclair. According to Cleese, Sinclair was, quote, the rudest man I've ever met, and his bizarre antics, such as throwing a guest's briefcase out the window because he thought it might contain a bomb, became the template for Basil Fawlty's tightly wound, combative personality. Cleese and Booth later returned to Torquay for further research, staying for more than 2 weeks. The entire concept of the show was built around the idea, what if someone like Sinclair ran a hotel, but it had to be a weekly comedy? The show was initially panned by the BBC. Believe it or not, the BBC was not enthusiastic about Fawlty Towers at the beginning. The pilot episode didn't test well internally, and one BBC executive called it a disaster. Another memo dismissed it as dire and full of cliches. But despite the shaky reception, Cleese and Booth were allowed to move forward, and the result was television history. Today, Fawlty Towers is regularly cited as the best British sitcom of all time. Its rough start makes the show's subsequent popularity all the more satisfying. Only 12 episodes. A common misconception among fans is that Fawlty Towers had multiple seasons stretching into the 80s. In truth, there were only 12 episodes made, 6 in 1975, 6 more in 79. The reason? Cleese and Booth were perfectionists. They didn't want to stretch the concept thin or let the quality dip. Cleese had repeatedly said he stopped at 12 episodes because they felt like they had told all the stories worth telling. This decision may have been key to its enduring popularity. The limited run means no filler episodes, no weak seasons, only comedic gold. The name Fawlty Towers came from a real typo. During their stay at the Gleneagles Hotel, the signage outside sometimes read oddly due to missing or scrambled letters. Inspired by this, the show's intro title sequence featured the hotel's name rearranged in humorous ways like flowery twats, fatty owls, and farty towels. This quirky detail became a fan favorite and added to the rewatchability of each episode. Eagle-eyed viewers would look forward to seeing how the name changed every time. Andrew Sachs got injured more than once. Andrew Sachs, who played the lovable but clueless Spanish waiter Manuel, suffered more for his art than many realize. During filming of the episode The Germans, a fire drill scene resulted in Sachs being accidentally burned by a prop. In another instance, a slapstick gag involving a frying pan actually led to a minor concussion. Despite the physical toll, Sachs fully embraced the character. His dedication to Manuel's innocent incompetence made him one of the most beloved characters in the series. The actors weren't just playing it straight, they were doing stunts. A hallmark of Fawlty Towers is its physical comedy. What many fans don't realize is how much of it was done without stunt doubles. John Cleese, standing over 6 feet 5 inches tall, hurled himself around with manic energy in scenes like Basil attacking his car with a tree branch or leaping over a front desk in frustration. Cleese's physical commitment added layers of humor to Basil's psychological unraveling. These weren't just lines and facial expressions, the entire cast used their bodies as instruments of comedy. The Germans episode was controversial but hugely popular. One of the most famous and debated episodes is The Germans, in which Basil has a concussion and ends up goose-stepping around the hotel while repeatedly shouting, "Don't mention the war." The episode has become iconic, with that line still widely quoted. Over time, the episode has been both criticized and celebrated. While some argue that it plays with outdated stereotypes, others defend it as a brilliant satire of British attitudes towards World War II. John Cleese has defended it as mocking xenophobia rather than promoting it. Nevertheless, it remains one of the most talked about episodes in British television. Connie Booth was more than just Polly. Many casual fans don't realize that Connie Booth, who played the ever-reliable and clever Polly, also co-wrote the series with Cleese. The two were married when the first series aired, but divorced before the second was filmed. Despite this, they remained professional collaborators and continued working together seamlessly. Booth's writing contributions gave the show much of its narrative strength. Polly also served as the audience's moral compass, keeping the other characters, especially Basil, from totally losing control. A U.S. remake failed spectacularly. Hollywood tried several attempts to adapt Fawlty Towers for American audiences. The most infamous attempt was Amanda's, which starred Bea Arthur as a female version of Basil. It was canceled after only a handful of episodes. Other versions, Snavely and Pain, also flopped. None of the remakes captured the original's spirit. The humor simply didn't translate. Basil's uniquely British brand of repression and rage was hard to replicate without Cleese's presence and tone. Even the hotel was a character. The hotel itself, Fawlty Towers, was more than just a backdrop. With its terrible service, chaotic atmosphere, and bizarre guests, it acted almost like a living, breathing character in the story. The hotel was based on real hotels Cleese had stayed in, and many of the props and sets were designed to look just as drab and impersonal as a real 1970s English seaside resort. The outside shots were filmed at the Woodburn Grange Country Club in Buckinghamshire. Sadly, it burned down in 1991. John Cleese was paid peanuts. Despite the show's massive popularity, John Cleese was reportedly paid just £6,000 for the first 6 episodes. He did receive a slight bump for the second series, but by modern standards, the creators were shockingly undercompensated for their cultural phenomenon. Cleese later joked that the BBC's frugality bordered on parody. Each script took months to write. The writing process for Fawlty Towers was grueling. Cleese and Booth often took up to 6 weeks to write a single script, laboring over each joke and plot detail. They famously used index cards to meticulously track every character's movement and motivation in each scene. This meticulous care paid off. Every episode is a tightly plotted comedy machine where every minor misunderstanding or lie escalates to full-blown disaster. Cleese has refused to do a new series until recently. For decades, John Cleese insisted that Fawlty Towers was a closed chapter. He said the show was perfect as it was, and any attempt to revive it would only tarnish its reputation. However, in 2023, Cleese surprised fans by announcing he was co-writing a revival series with his daughter, Camilla Cleese. The new iteration will reportedly be set in the Caribbean, with Basil Fawlty attempting to run a boutique hotel in the modern age. While some fans are excited, others worry it may not live up to the original. Still, it shows just how deeply Fawlty Towers has embedded itself in the culture. Even after 45 years, people want more.
Any valuables to deposit, Sir Richard? Any bricks? I do apologize. You bastard!
Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Fawlty Towers could be successfully remade? Let us know in the comments section below.